God, body of, corporeal nature. God is revealed as a real, tangible person with bodily existence. It is also a fundamental belief of Christianity that Jesus is the Son of God. If God is not a corporeal, bodily being, then it is impossible for him to have a son who was the image of his person. Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 3. Furthermore, it becomes difficult to develop a personal living relationship with God if God is just a concept in our mind, a formless, shapeless thing floating out in space like a cloud of mist, only with a mind and will. By person I mean a being regarded as an individual, an individual's body. It is tragic that the majority of religions have this unreal, intangible concept of God. God being so infinitely greater than us, it is understandable that people's faith has been unwilling to accept the clear promises that ultimately we will see God. Israel lacked the faith to see God's shape. John chapter 5 and verse 37, clearly showing that he does have a real form. Such faith comes from knowing God and believing his word. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 8. If God is not a real, personal being, then the concepts of spiritualities are to wrestle with. If God is totally righteous, but is not a material being, then we cannot really conceive of his righteousness manifest in human beings. However, once we appreciate that there is a personal being called God, then we can work on our characters with his help and influence of his word to reflect the characteristics of God in our being. God's purpose is to reveal himself in a multitude of glorified beings. His memorial name, Yahweh Elohim, indicates this. He will be mighty ones. If God is not a corporeal being, then the reward of the faithful is to have a non-physical existence like God. But the descriptions of the reward of the faithful in God's coming kingdom on earth shows that they will have a tangible bodily existence, although no longer subject to the weaknesses of human nature. The faithful are promised that they will inherit God's nature. See 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 4. If God is not a person, then this means we will live eternally as immaterial spirits, but this is not Bible teaching. We will be given a body like that of Jesus. See Philippians chapter 3 and verse 21, and we know that he will have a literal body in the kingdom which will have hands, eyes and ears. See Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 6, Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 3. The doctrine of the person of God is therefore related to the gospel of the kingdom. Therefore it should be evident that there can be no sensible concept of worship or personal relationship with God until it is appreciated that God is a person, that we are in his image physically, although a very imperfect image, and need to develop his mental image so that we can take on the fullness of his physical image in the kingdom of God.